Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Right, just bring the game up now. Here we are. Now I know it's probably a bit odd doing a career mode stream. Never actually streamed F1 2020 before. This is actually my career mode that I have played about 1.5 seasons of, 1.25 seasons of, and I literally just thought, you know what, it might be a good idea to stream this game. I fancy it, why not? So we're going to be doing the Spanish Grand Prix here in this game. It's Season 2, I think, Race 6, I believe. So, should be pretty good. Just having a little look, make sure there's nothing we can do on the R&D side of things, doesn't look like it. So the format for this stream basically going to be just jumping through the race weekend, really. Just getting through it, basically we're going to do the one practice program to learn the track. We're going to do qualifying, Q1, Q2, and then Q3 if we get into it, and then the race. And it's a 50% race distance, so the stream length should be around 1:15 to 1.5 hours. Now, in terms of, you know, what's going on in my team, so this is Madsley Racing, it's my team career mode, and my teammate is Kevin Magnussen at the moment. That's who I signed going into the second season. Jumped over to Mercedes Power, so the team's actually doing quite well. We're only on 90% AI, but yeah, I know. That's in the chat. But yes, it's pretty good, really. So, Kevin Magnussen's our teammate. I can't even remember how to get around all this stuff. I'm not very good at getting around this season. We're second in the championship at the moment. The AI is on 90% difficulty, but I use the driving line for corners only, and it's only the 2D one, not the 3D one, and no other assists whatsoever, so only the one assist. So not pretty good fun, really. And it's just, I don't know, skip forward to the race, basically. So I think the AI difficulty may be slightly too easy, but it allows me to get some good results. I mean, this season so far, I've got a lot of podiums and a 6th place. So I got 1st place in the last round. That was partially because of a good qualifying, and then some AIs getting some penalties. That was partially why. So let's go jump into the race weekend then, and then we'll learn the track in practice, and then kind of get on with the event basically. So yeah, I just thought, what should I stream this morning? And I thought, yeah, why not? Let's do the F1 game. It's a good idea to stream it. So I hope you guys enjoy it as a stream. Again, it's quite a good game to stream, actually. The game screen's just gone black. You can probably see it says loading in the top left. While it loads, it takes a bit of time. Everything is all ready to go, though. There we go. So you can see, oh, okay, good. I thought that was the race that was rainy then, looking at that. So the race is all going to be dry. That's lovely. I don't like it when it's too rainy. You can see we've made a pretty good step up this week with the car. You can see we're actually quite, about mid-table now. So we should be expecting to get into the top 10 in this race quite easily. But we'll see. Again, I haven't learnt the track in advance. We're just going into practice now, and we'll do a practice program. We'll do the one that allows you to learn the track, the one with all the different gates, so you've got to get the right speed. Obviously, it's not too difficult because I have got the driving line turned on. That's why I have it turned on. I don't play this game enough for me to learn how the car handles and all the different tracks. I'm more focused on iRacing. I almost never play this game. I played it a couple of days ago, but before that, it was months since I played it. That's why I don't do a recording series on it. It's usually the game I just jump into when I have a bit of time. Okay, that's just my engineers talking. Right, so we'll just fast forward through the session a little bit and allow a couple of cars to go out and get the track kind of warmed up and ready to go. So we'll let them go out, and we're just going to play. I've also got some setups from Steam Workshop They were done again right at the start of the game, so I'm not sure whether they're still the best setups, but it doesn't matter. We'll get it loaded on board the car anyway. So there we go. And we'll go out now, and we'll go ahead and select it, and start, and then we're going to go ahead and drive out from the pits.
Let's get a few laps under our belt.
So this is our car. It's very green. It's actually green and blue, but from the cockpit it just looks green. You know, that's the colours I went with for the My Team car for this season. It's a bit of an odd paint scheme, but you know, why not? I said no assists apart from the driving line. Everything else is so all the ABS, traction control, all that's turned fully off. I just use the driving line for braking, really. It's not always right, the driving line in some areas. You can normally push it a tiny bit more once I get used to the track. But it's a pretty fun game, this. I was thinking about streaming iRacing this morning, but I thought, you know, I feel like F1 game. And there we go. Right, let's start the lap then. So this is the track acclimatization program. We basically have to hit all of the gates pretty much perfectly along here. It's what allows you to learn the track, and the game will let you know if you're taking the corners as good as you can. At the moment mostly purple, which is good, very good. So far I've taken every corner pretty much perfect, which is obviously what we want. Oh, rip. We do have flashbacks enabled for that reason. The cars are quite unpredictable in this game, so I'll try to use them as little as possible, those flashbacks, but in practice it doesn't really matter if we use them.
DRS zone is coming up. Get ready to open it. Distance is on your MFD.
Can we use first gear through there? I'm really not sure. I don't know, we got purple through there, so we must be pretty good. And then obviously the lap times don't really matter in practice. I'm always slower than the AI in practice. Just as I'm warming up and different track conditions. Obviously I don't do nearly as much practice as the AI do. I don't think practice actually helps the AI though. I don't think they get anything out of it. Oh, it was a really good lap actually, apart from one little bit that was red.
You'll get a bonus for consistency if you can chain good corners together.
So we can do the same lap again, but without getting a red corner, we can get the top score. And getting a top score is good because you get more resource points to develop your car. That's kind of the bonus of doing practice in this game. So I'm starting to get a bit quicker now, I think. Pushing the car a bit more. Can't quite go flat there, but it doesn't really matter. Hello in the chat. I'll leave the chat once I've finished this this lap now. There we go, that was a good lap. So across the line, it'll probably be quite a slow lap. That. Oh, nice. Yeah. I said Yeah, that will be quite a slow lap compared to the AI, because the AI will be on, so we were on the hard tyres, which are the slowest ones, and I'm just warming up. The mediums and the softs, and also as the session wears, as you get further in, it means the AI will go quicker, so that lap time, nothing to go off. So we're just going to go ahead and skip the qualifying now, I don't want to waste too much time. Again, I just always like to do the track acclimatization program, just because it helps me learn the track, and it helps you get a couple of bonus resource points as well. Which is useful for developing the car in my team.
Time to remind ourselves of our top three.
So you can see there, our lap time was nowhere. Our lap time was P17, which is expected. Not expected to have, not expected to be a good lap. Again, yeah, it's just qualifying is what will matter more. If we can try and get into qualifying 2 on 1 run, that's what will be the aim. But obviously that'll be first. That'll be properly pushing the car then in qualifying, because you have the softer tyres, and I really like the softer tyres on this game. They feel a lot nicer in my opinion. At least in qualifying, obviously. Just waiting for the game to load now. Again, this game is quite slow to load actually. If you it would be nice if it was a bit quicker, because obviously some people like to simulate races and stuff, and skip races and skip cutscenes, and it can be really slow if you like to skip stuff, because it has to load all these different menus all of the time. It's quite annoying. I mean, this PC isn't exactly slow. I mean, I am recording at the same time, I've got that to take into account. Anyway, it's, well, not recording, streaming, but... Right, loading up now, into qualifying this is now, so we'll just check the setup. This is what I like to do, I like to check the setup and make sure it's got the correct amount of fueling, because sometimes it has slightly too much. Now, 3.7 laps is perfect. The setup I used for the Dutch Grand Prix, which is the one that's just gone, its qualifying fuel was like 6 laps of fuel, which obviously you don't need, you need a bit less than that. Right, so we're going to go ahead and just let a couple of cars go out, then we're going to go out. Just check the setup's loaded on board, because we can't actually change, there you go, can't change our setup as soon as we leave in qualifying. Tyres, we've got the soft compound set, so I'll go ahead and head out the track now.
Checks complete, we're ready.
So, we'll try and get a clear run in qualifying. The AI like to go quite quickly on their outlaps, it's not like real life Formula 1 where everyone trundles around forever, and then you end up with a massive traffic jam on the last corner. That doesn't really happen. So I just like to kind of distance myself from some of the AI though, just to make sure they don't get in the way. So we've got a Ferrari just behind us, so I'll let them by. The AI don't really like overtaking you though under qualifying. They go. Sometimes they don't like overtaking you. There you go, we've got a Renault behind us now, so we'll keep pushing. Because obviously the Ferrari, I think, in this game is actually still quite quick, from what I remember. It didn't get patched fully, ever, to the state where it was in real life. It never quite got that slow, so... Like, that corner there is much nicer on those soft tyres than it is on the harder tyres like we were doing in practice. Right. Let's go for our lap then, because we have a car behind us, so I don't really want them to get in the way. So we'll just try and get a good lap in, really. Don't really know what kind of lap time that is. We're just going to try and obviously get top 17, I think top 16 it is. I know in real life it's top 15, it's because there's an extra team on the grid in my team. Didn't really use the line there that the driving line has. I prefer that line that I took there. Again, I don't really use the driving line. Like in iRacing, I don't use it so much for the line, I just use it for the braking. And in iRacing, I don't actually use it anymore. I'm sure in this game I could turn it off if I learned the tracks. But I don't learn them because I rarely play this game. I mean, some like career mode creators, they're on like season 6, season 7 in their game, and I'm on season 2. There we go. Cross the line. Let's see what this lap time is. There we go. P6 at the moment. It's a 17.5, so I don't think it's that good. I don't know. It felt like an okay lap, but we'll see what the game says. P10 at the moment. We're looking quite low down, actually. We're slower than our teammate, so that's an indication we need to go again. That's a bit annoying. Yeah, P16 we are, and that is the minimum we can be to be safe, so that's not really good. So I think we'll have to go again, sadly, which is not really it's actually very tight, actually. I mean, we're only 9/10 off the lead car, which is the Mercedes, so obviously the grid's very tight. Our teammate, though, is half a second ahead of us. That's what we need to get into that gap, half a second ahead. So we're gonna go out again. The Williams of Latifi is going out now, actually. So we'll see if he improves. He doesn't improve, so that means that the Williams behind us at least is safe and will not get us. However, I'm not going to use that as any kind of assurance that we'll get through. So we're going to go ahead and use another set of soft tyres, I suppose, because we haven't really got a choice. Not really what I wanted. It means we only get one run in qualifying 2 and one run in qualifying 3. So that's not great. But I guess that's what happens when I go to a track that I don't know, that haven't been around for ages. Also, the F1 game, I haven't actually had a look, but there is actually a spreadsheet that someone made in terms of your AI level. You enter in your base AI level, and then it calculates your AI level for all different tracks, because in this game, I know Silverstone's one of the worst. But depending on the track you race at, the AI are either super underpowered versus what you usually race, or they're super overpowered. So sometimes it can differ by up to 10%, the AI difficulty that you need. I think at Silverstone it's like, yeah, you need to decrease your AI difficulty by about 10% if you want the difficulty to be the same. I don't know why it's like that, but it's kind of always been like that in the F1 game. Is the Haas going to let us through here? Doesn't look like it, so I'm just gonna... Okay, we're in a bit of traffic here, actually. It's not great. I'll just pull off here and let that car go. It's thrown out a yellow flag, but it doesn't really matter, does it? So we'll just pull up, let those guys go. Let the gap build. There's no cars behind us, so we're good. We've got a minute until the flag falls on the session. Right. Right, away we go then. 4-hour lap. We'll try and do a bit better. I just realised, I think I actually meant to change some engine components this week going into the race. I mean, it's on 54%, the engine, which is nowhere near... it needs to be around the 70s and 80% if you really want to if you get issues from it, but... It does mean we are slightly down on power, because my engineer gave me a message about it in the last race, and I meant to change it and I didn't, so obviously that could explain our lack of pace versus our teammate. Our engine may be being slightly off pace. We're actually only a 10th up here. Oh wait, we must have made a mistake on our first lap in that corner, because we gained like 4/10 of a second just in that one tiny little bit there, so we must have made a mistake. That's why our lap time was slow. Well, there you go, that's much better. We're half a second up, which is what we were targeting. And there we go, that's enough for P12, so that will get us through into the next session easy enough. In the end, I don't actually think we needed to do another lap there. I think our first lap was a 17.5. So I'll just have a quick look. You can see there, basically matching our teammate. Yeah, we could have actually made it through on the 17.5. We would have been P16, but I was not chancing it. If you're P16, so it's the last position that gets through, you're not chancing it. So it's a bit annoying I had to go twice, because I made a mistake on that first lap, obviously, around that little complex of corners. So it means we only got one run in Q2, unless we go out on the mediums for our lap, but I don't really want to do that. Well, I'll see what everyone else does. So we'll let the session run a bit, and then we'll see what some of the AI are doing on their first runs, see if they're on mediums, and if they are, maybe I'll consider it. So I'll have a look at what have the AI done, because we could potentially go out for 2 runs now. You can see, at the moment, only Bottas has gone out on the mediums and nobody else, so I'm not going to try.
It's pretty quiet out on track. We should consider getting out there.
So I think I'm going to go for a lap now, because, you know, obviously everyone's already set a benchmark time, and we're only going to get the 1 run in, so we'll go now. So go to track, and we'll go ahead and drive out.
All set.
And this is our 1 run. We've only got 1.
To track.
So if the car isn't making it, that means we're not quick enough around Spain. I mean, usually, sometimes I am a bit slower in the qualifying, and then I get a good start in the race, and, you know, that's where the pace really comes in. But we'll see how this goes. Also, I hope you guys can hear me okay over the car, and that the video feed is okay. It looks alright. So we've gone out when it's a bit quiet on these fresh softs, and we'll get 2 runs in Q3. We'll use an old set first, and then we'll use a new set for the final charge run, I suppose. There's no AI out on the track right now, so we're nice and clear. Well, there's a McLaren and a Red Bull, but they're behind us. I think they've just set a lap, maybe. Try first gear on that. I don't think first gear is quicker. I think it is second that you need. Right, there we go. Off we go then to start our lap. And then this one needs to be a good lap. Better than our teammate, really. Okay, slowing down less for that first corner there than the driving line suggested. And this is where driving lines do sometimes slow you down. They don't always tell you the quickest way around a circuit. But so far this lap's feeling pretty good, actually. Obviously, really, it's our only lap. We haven't got another new set of tyres. If we go into Q3, we will get given another new set of tyres. So there's that. I think I'm just slow through that corner there. I think that's where I need to be quicker. Right. I think that was a good lap. 17.0. So it's better than what we did. It's basically what we did to finish P12 in Q3. Because our first Q1. Our first Q1 lap was a 17.5. And that wasn't good enough. So 17.0. We have actually out-qualified our teammate by 0.2 of a second. So it's looking like... Because I actually have the full training facilities turned on. I have the full training facilities turned on in this game. So I guess, I don't know, I don't think I can really improve. Apparently the wear on this set of tyres here is a bit better. I'm gonna do a flying lap, so it'll spawn me on a flying lap, because I don't want to waste you guys' time with another drive out lap. It's probably getting a bit boring now, just watching me go around qualifying. You guys watching probably want to see the race, so we'll get to that point. So obviously this is on a... Remember, this is the set that we set that 17.5 on in Q1. So it's already been used for one fast lap. So whether we'll get another one out of it, I don't know, but we'll try. Also have the advantage of learning the track a lot more now, but you never know. I mean, judging by our teammate, this car just doesn't have that much pace around here. I'll just quick round Zandvoort because I think the AI are generally a bit slow around there. I waited a bit longer to go into 7th gear there, and that seems to be quicker. I tried the driving line through there rather than my one. It does seem to be a bit quicker. Okay, we're up 2/10 at the moment, actually. Oh, that's where you can tell the tyres are going old now. They haven't got quite the same amount of grip as new ones.
2 minutes remaining in the session.
Nah.
We need a good lap here, or we're out of qualifying.
We messed it up right at the end. The old tyres really showed there on that last kind of third of the lap. They were really good for the first 2/3, and then they just fell out. So we're just knocked out by one position, sadly. Yeah, that lap, you can see we wouldn't have even need to do much to get in, but I think that was a slower lap though, thankfully. I say that because obviously we have to start the race on the one that we... actually, no, we don't. We can start... Actually, thinking about it, this is a bonus starting P11, because if you go into Q3, you have to start on the soft tyre, because that's what you used to get into Q3 with. Which around Spain in this game means you have to do a 2-stop. But, in this game, starting from the mediums or hards in Spain, you can do a 1-stop, which means that you can jump a lot of the faster cars that are doing an extra stop if you're quick enough. So, I think that's what we'll try for. We'll try for the 1-stop, and maybe we can get a good result out of it. Again, I mean, it's quite obvious. Really? Okay, my engineer's cross. He's like, you're skipping practice sessions. I'm not, but okay.
And also helps us gather data for car development.
Right, start the session. 33 laps, 50% race. Should be about 45 minutes. So, you know, this is probably what anyone is watching the stream for, the race. It's the best bit. So, obviously, let's see what we can do. Starting 11th, so we are the highest placed car that has a free choice of tyres, which is, of course, a bonus.
With the race, minutes.
I just skip all those cutscenes. We've got the formation lap as well. Okay, we're still starting P11. So no one, so you can see there is the 2-stop, and that is the strategy that you see down there. That's the strategy that all the AI in the top 10 will be doing. And as you can see, the game reckons that it's 12 seconds slower. So they're wasting 12 seconds. So if we can make some of that up, we could potentially be in for a very good race. Now, I like to just put in one extra lap of fuel with this car. But look like we're saving 12.4 seconds by doing this medium to hard strategy. So hopefully it pays off well. Obviously we might have safety cars, you never know. We'll see. Nah, this is just a formation lap, so nothing interesting yet. Just grab a weather report.
Radar is clear. Weather is looking good for now. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
We'll just warm the tyres up there on the rear with a little...
Is good. Gearbox is
with a little...
Make sure to warm up the tyres and brakes. Warm the tyres and brakes throughout the lap.
So yeah, we need to warm up the tyres because they're at the moment a bit cold, so we'll just get them race ready. You see, everyone ahead of us, look, is starting on the softs. Although I've only just noticed Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris in the McLaren and the Ferrari, both very quick cars. They're also starting behind us. They didn't make it into Q3 either, so we might have competition for a good result from them as well. And then obviously my teammate Kevin Magnussen behind them.
Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected.
Excellent. So no rain on the weather radar, but obviously sometimes even though the game doesn't say there's going to be rain on the indicators before the race. Occasionally, when it's cloudy like this, the weather indicators on this game have been known to be wrong, but it appears that they're okay for now. We'll put it into rich mix, ready for the start. Excuse that. Oh dear. Funny, yeah. We just did a George Russell from Imola. Oh, his was under the safety car. Yeah, I'm trying to warm the tyres up by spinning the tyres. There we go. We'll do it here, in a straight line. That's better. That's why we have flashbacks, just in case. I'm not the best at this game, obviously. Now, the AI will actually take control of the start. There you go. So the AI... I mean, I actually wish you could do a lot more in the F1 game yourself. Like, you can't do pit stops yourself, and you can't do lining up on the grid yourself. The game controls it, and there's no way to turn that off, unfortunately, which is a bit annoying. I would like to line up on the grid myself, but, you know, we can still do the start ourselves. It's just the lining up on the grid that we can't do. Right, here we are, ready to go.
And watch for the lights.
Let's try and get a good start. Now, the AI used to be OP at starts, but at Zandvoort, after a couple of game updates, I got an amazing start, so we'll see what happens. And it's lights out, and away we go. Got an okay start. We'll go to the inside. Okay, so it's a pretty decent start. We're still P11. We'll dive it into turn 1, though, because the AI are often quite reluctant to be aggressive on lap 1. And then I'm getting a total load of understeer. Obviously we're on full fuel for the first time ever, and in dirty air of cars ahead, so there is that. This car doesn't feel too great when it's like that. We'll try and dive back on the Renault though, of Ocon. And there you go, so P9s have made 2 positions up on the start.
Okay, that's a good start. Keep it up.
So we'll keep this up then, hopefully. I don't know, it was a pretty good lap 1, I think. The AI are going to be really, really cautious into this corner. So the AI are always far too cautious on lap 1. They don't mind you sending dive bombs on them. They just kind of let it go. And then they become a bit more aggressive later in the race. That's the thing with racing with AI, though. It is actually quite easy to overtake them because they do often get scared of you. It's one thing that annoys me about racing AI. Like, if you race a real person, say on iRacing, and you put them in a position like that, they're going to fight back. They're not just going to give it to you. But AI will always just go, here you go, have the position. We don't care. But it's a pretty good opening lap, though. We've gained 4 positions, so... Although whether we'll be able to pull away now, I don't know, because obviously the car doesn't look that quick. With our teammate only being P14, a maxed out teammate, like, I think he's about 99 rated, something like that. And obviously... But we'll see what we can do. Pretty happy with where we've started, at least. And then now, we've just got to get through the laps. And we'll see how the race develops. Obviously, DRS will be enabled. That's the little rear wing flap that opens and allows us to go a bit quicker when we're behind a car in a straight. That will turn on after lap 3. And that will allow us to get some passes done in a straight line. But at the moment, we're actually all in a train. So the AI will all be getting DRS as well. The gap ahead and the gap behind, we're literally all in a massive train. If you look behind and look ahead, we're all just in the same... We're all just in the same train. Right, we're going to go down to standard mixture now on the fuel, because we've burnt quite a bit of fuel. But obviously as well, remember, I'm actually going to be leading this race when the pit stops happen, because I'm the only car on the mediums. Unless Bottas... Actually, did Bottas qualify in on the mediums? I didn't look. I think Bottas may have stuck with his medium strategy. in which case he'll probably win this race easily, so we best we can hope for his P2, but that ain't too bad.
More, it's time to utilize some of this energy.
Obviously we do have that ERS, we're going to use that now I suppose. I think Ricciardo has DRS though. Oh, he doesn't have DRS. Okay, we can go for this, I think. Bit of a dive, but it was needed. Oh. Have we got damage? No, we haven't got damage, that's good. It's on simulation damage. I guess we didn't tap him that heavily. Which is good. Although we don't get DRS now, which is a bit of a shame. Although I think we may have, I don't think we gave damage to Ricciardo because we only hit the back of his car. In this game, you can't damage the back of your car. The only thing that gets broken is the front wing. Nothing else gets broken, which is a bit weird, but that's how the game works. I honestly thought we'd have DRS off Perez, but I guess Perez managed to stretch a bit of a gap. I'm hoping to do the same now. Now I've got some clean air, which makes a big difference in Formula 1. No dirty air ahead of us, so we can push away.
We're monitoring somewhere on the ICE. Be aware that
that's the engine. Oh, yeah, so that's the engine. So the engine is losing power, as I said. I meant to swap it out for this race, and I totally forgot. Gonna use a bit of Rich Mix actually now to push away from Ricciardo. I don't think we gave him any damage because we never touched the front of his car, and we never touched the front of it. So I think he's just falling back because of pace.
Engine is showing small signs of wear. Power output will be down.
My engineer was just told the same thing just on the same lap.
Front is 2.3 seconds.
There, so Ricciardo hasn't got DRS on us anymore, so that's nice. Hopefully we can try and push away. P6 is really good. I'm really happy with that from P11 on the grid. I mean, some of the moves are a bit aggressive, but that's kind of how you deal with AI in this game, if you want to get by. It's more I prefer raising real people to AI, but if you've ever tried going into F1 2020 multiplayer servers, you know why this isn't a multiplayer race. Honestly, they are chaos, the multiplayer servers in this game. I think they do actually have some attempt at a safety rating system, but it doesn't really do anything. And it is just chaos, basically. In short. I'm starting to cut that curve a bit more now. It gives us a bit more speed. I've got a good exit out of there, obviously aided with a bit of ERS, but it was on standard mixture, so we weren't getting too much engine power. Gap to Ricciardo behind has started falling away, and the gap ahead is actually getting a bit larger as well. We don't have the pace of those Racing Points or Ferraris ahead, so we're just stuck here. Obviously, remember, this is from the 2020 season, so Racing Point are still called Racing Point, not Aston Martin, and Renault are still called Renault rather than Alpine. And all the drivers are also from 2020. Oh, for the 2021 game, I don't think it'll be out until about July, usually it's out, something like that. I don't think they've announced a date yet. They haven't announced anything about the new game, I don't think, yet. But I'm pretty happy with the position we're in now. This is kind of what I like to do in the F1 game, is you have the kind of chaotic start where you make up some positions on the AI that are they're always a bit cautious, and then you kind of just settle down to an area where the AI aren't really catching you from behind, and you're not really catching the people ahead. You just set some solid laps, which obviously for our strategy of doing the one-stop is good. You can see there the AI in fact are already pitting on just lap 6, so that's how long those soft tyres go, and that means that they will have to do a 2-stop. Whereas me, I can go to lap 14-ish and as a result, I can go to the end on some harder tyres. So now I'm currently in P3. Bottas and Verstappen both started on the mediums, so that does mean that I think P3 is probably the best we can hope for here today. But that still isn't that bad. That's still a very good result if we can get it. Obviously the people on the 2-stop, they will come charging through the field later on as well with newer tyres, remember. Obviously that's the bonus of doing the 2-stop, you get brand new tyres. So while I'm on quite old mediums and towards the end of the race slower hard tyres, they will be on quicker medium tyres that are newer and fresher, so as a result they will be a lot quicker. So probably have to do some defending if we do want to get that P3, it's not guaranteed. Whoa, that was close. That was a little twitch from the car there. That happens when you... I found this, when you are using ERS in this game, that does happen. What are they suggesting? They're suggesting that I stop a bit later. I don't really want to do that. I don't know. I think I'd rather go to lap 14.
Copy that.
The reason they do that and they don't offer you lap 15 is because my teammate will probably be taking lap 15. So... I'm sticking with lap 14 though. I'd rather pit earlier than my teammate than after. And on top of that, you know, these tyres will probably start getting quite warm by lap 14, I imagine. We're only on lap 8 now. So... I need to use the ERS more. I literally never use the ERS in this game. I don't like using it in some of the faster corners, though I find that, I don't know whether it's a bug or whether it is realistic, but when you're going around a fast corner, like 4th, 5th gear, the back of the car just randomly tries to spin if you've got ERS enabled. It doesn't do it if you haven't got it enabled, so say for this corner here, I don't massively like having ERS on the exit of it until a little bit later. It's been a pretty good lap, this one, mostly on standard mixture as well.
6.2 seconds.
That is because of using a bit of ERS, and obviously I'm starting to learn the track more as well. Whoa, that was... Okay, that's disappointing. We're going to have to use at least one flashback then. I would like to have a flashback-free race at some point. That would be nice. I'm not quite familiar with this car. I mean, when I first turned off the traction control and ABS, I did feel like I couldn't drive the car. But iRacing has actually taught me a lot about how to control a car. I think it's probably the Dallara IR1 and things, because obviously in iRacing you don't want to, if you can't control your car in iRacing, you're just asking to lose safety rating, because you get 2x every time you spin. But obviously in this game, if you spin, it doesn't really have any consequences. So... this race so far, I've been making it 8 laps without a single mistake is very good. Alright, gap behind is now 4 seconds, and that is to the next car that is doing the 1-stop. So obviously Leclerc, Norris, they're all doing 1-stops. So I'll keep an eye on the pace to them, because obviously the Ferrari is quite quick. Sebastian Vettel was ahead of us, and I wasn't really able to I wasn't able to catch up to him, so it shows the Ferrari's got some pace. Obviously. Obviously our engineer will update us on pace and all the rest of it as we go on through the race. Obviously, you might have a safety car and things as well. Got to be ready for that, obviously, because AI, I think they're probably generally between 1 and 2 AI retirements per race that are just random failures. Again, the player can't get those, which is a shame. Only the AI get random failures, which is kind of a bit annoying almost, really. It'd be nice if the player didn't get random failures. As annoying as it would be to get a random failure, I think it it does always give the player an advantage in the championship, because obviously the AI are always going to have one race probably in a season where they lose out on 20 points because they had an engine failure, and that's never going to happen to the player. So the player's basically got 20 points up on all of the AI.
Let's use overtake and burn some of this energy.
It's been a really good lap actually. I haven't even been using the ERS that much, or the fuel mixture.
Okay, gap ahead is 6.4.
I mean, it's still not a race lap best. It's still not better than what Bottas has done. I think both Bottas and Verstappen have got this one easily for a P1 and a P2 respectively. And then Norris, I'm definitely quicker than him looking at it, but we'll keep an eye on Leclerc, because the gap to him has stayed roughly the same, about 4 seconds. You saw there Pierre Gasly's out of the race, so that will be his AlphaTauri parked on the side of the track somewhere. And that could bring out a safety car or a virtual safety car, although usually it does it as soon as the message pops up to say that somebody's out of the race. So I don't think we'll get a safety car from it. The yellow flags. There you go. So the yellow flags are just up here. Now, unlike real life, you don't need to slow down in yellow flags. You just need to not overtake in this game. And you can see it's only a small area of yellow flags. It's parked off to the side there, so I don't think that'll be a safety car. I think these tyres are starting to go off. I had about like one push lap. That does happen in the F1 game. You kind of get one lap where your tyres are perfect, and then after that,
we're approaching the pit window.
They start degrading a lot. They get a bit too hot, although at the moment the tyre temperatures are looking okay. Remember, we have got some engine wear as well.
Is gaining on you by 0.5 a lap.
So you can see there, Leclerc is quicker than us when we have a slow lap. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Obviously we're pitting in about 2 or 3 laps anyway, so... Oh, there's a yellow flag behind as well.
Clear.
Is that Leclerc breaking down? Bit unusual to have 2 AI retirements so close together, and yes, it looks like it.
Safety car,
and it's the full safety car. Okay.
Positive as we form up. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Okay. Well, we're going to do a one-stop anyway. We're going to pit. It looks like that the AI doesn't want us to do a one-stop. They're saying do a 2-stop, but I'm still going to do the one-stop. Unusual to have 2 AI retirements so close together, but
right, come in at the end of this lap.
We're saying box this lap. We're going to do a one-stop, even though our team is saying you need to go to lap 14. We're going to pit this lap now, which is lap 13 going on to, so we're not really wasting that much time, are we?
Your pace immediately.
But that was interesting, yeah. 2 AI retirements really close together there. So this will be our one and only pit stop today, and it'll be under safety car conditions. And we're going to go on to the hard tyres, so no matter what the team is saying, our team is obviously saying no, don't go on to the hard tyres. I'm also just going to do a mid-session save now quickly. I just like to do a mid-session save just in case the game has issues. See, there you go, we've done it. So this is really good for us. We're getting a free pit stop under safety car.
Kevin is in the pits.
And then we'll be good to go at the end. This is where the one-stop is handy as well. This one-stop allows you to gain a lot of positions, and you can see, there we go.
See these tyres through to the end.
We can now go to the end, and we're in P3, legitimately P3. And the AI behind us, Hamilton, he's going to have to pit again. And Vettel, he's going to have to pit again. So, and Bottas and Verstappen, oh my word, they've gone on to softs. They're doing a 2-stop. Oh my word, okay. We could win this. We're the only people doing a 1-stop. We can actually win this race. Wow. That is AI. That is the poor strategy of the AI for you. I don't know why on earth you choose to do a 2-stop from this position. Madness, I think. Obviously, because we got suggested the 2-stop by our crew chief, and obviously, in the AI will always just pick whatever their engineer asks them to, because that AI, they'll just go for whatever the calculated quickest way is. But obviously I can think about it and I go, no, that's a stupid decision. So actually, I think we're the only car left in the whole field now that is doing a 1-stop. meaning that we could potentially get a win out of really slow pace. Obviously, we are going to have to, we'll probably get passed by these guys on the restart, but obviously we can use rich mix, remember, because I have got, we are running lean mix this entire time, so we'll be able to break away quite quickly. But these guys, I mean, Verstappen and Bottas on soft tyres, they're just going to run away. I'm on hard tyres, so, and they're in quicker cars, so they're going to be gone. Although obviously Hamilton and Vettel behind us, they are on older medium tyres, they're not fresh, so they've had a good 5 or 6 laps on them. This is crazy. This has been a really mad race now, and obviously our main rival, one of the main rivals, Leclerc, he's out. So, you know, I mean, I do wish sometimes the AI wouldn't have stupid strategy like this. You know, maybe it ruins the race a little bit, but if it can get me a win out of pace that really isn't the best, then that'll be awesome. Although I do remember at the end of this race, Bottas and Verstappen, they're both going to go onto the medium tyre, and it'll be fresh versus my old hard tyre. And if they pull the gap on that soft tyre, they are going to be attacking me towards the end of this race, and they might get me. So the win isn't booked in, but I think a good result will follow, hopefully. Obviously the tyres are quite cold now, so we'll, I mean, it's not 1 to go yet, not 1 to green, so we won't start warming them totally yet. You see we've got a whole plus 1 lap of fuel right now, so we're saving a ton of fuel under safety car here. That's nice.
Okay, let's get ready to go racing again.
I wish the game wouldn't do this. They've literally just said last minute before the lap starts that it is going green this lap, so we've got to warm the tyres quite last minute. Again, in real life they typically give you at least half a lap's notice, probably a whole lap a lot of the time, but I guess the game decided that literally this was enough notice, so no mind. It does mean we've got very cold tyres leading to the restart. Bottas will control the restart, and then we'll just try and get a good start. But we've got really cold tyres and they're spinning on the restart. That was we didn't actually, because we held up Hamilton behind us, we actually haven't lost any time really. But yeah, I wish the game would have given us a bit more notice about that, because now our tyres are stupidly cold. I mean, since when is 80 degrees considered cold? But it is. Obviously those guys are just going to get away, Bottas and Verstappen, and Hamilton will probably make his way around quite quickly. He's in a much quicker Mercedes on mediums rather than hards, so he's going to be passed as well. Remember, all these guys have to stop again though. That is kind of the key thing here. I don't have to stop again, and they do. And a stop wastes, what, 20? 30 seconds? I think Vettel might get us as well. I'm not sure. Obviously, we are actually in Lewis Hamilton's slipstream, so if we can stay in that, maybe that would help us keep pace. The tyres are getting up to temperature now. We're cut up on halfway through the race.
Make use of the overtake button and see what you can do.
Also, there's no DRS after a safety car now. It's got to wait 3 laps. I suspect the AI will all pit around lap 20, lap 21, somewhere around there. And you can see Hamilton and Verstappen and Bottas are just gone. That they've left the building. To be fair, their strategy of being on the softs, obviously, it wouldn't have worked for me because my car isn't quick enough to pull away on the soft tyre. Obviously, they're in top cars, so they can really stretch the advantage being at the front of the field on soft tyres. But I wouldn't have got that same advantage, which is why I went with the 1 stop. But maybe there's AI going with the 2 stop, the faster AI. It is good. Because remember, my car is basically slim midfield car. It's not up to pace with these Mercedes and Red Bulls yet. So that means that, obviously, I'm going to have some catching up to do. And I won't be as quick. So if you can't beat them on the track, you beat them on strategy. Which is what I'm doing. Or attempting to do. Again, I think Bottas and Verstappen might actually be one of the ones that win this race. I don't think I'm going to be able to win it. I think those guys are too quick. But Hamilton, he's not really pulling out enough of a gap. I mean, he's pulling out a gap, but it's not really that large. It's only a second compared to 4.5 seconds for Verstappen. So, if I can continue to get, if I can get DRS off Hamilton on this lap now, that will be really useful. But we need to really push to stay in DRS range. So we're going to be using ERS on this lap a lot. Obviously, we're already using Rich Mix. We can only use a certain amount of ERS, so we'll decide when we use it. We'll use it in this earlier part of the lap though, because there is a DRS zone a bit further up here, and if we're within 1 second for that, then we'll be able to pull up. Oi! Oh, that's what I mean. I hate using ERS on this game when you're in a corner. It feels horrendous. I don't know whether, I guess it's like the increased power output to the wheels, but it makes the car really slidey. Right, I think we've just done it. I think we were just under a second. No, we haven't done it, but the cars behind aren't in DRS.
We'll be back on target.
But sadly, we can't use any more ERS now, because we only get a certain amount per lap, and we've used it all. Obviously, even though there's still some in the batteries, there is a rule. There's a maximum amount that you can deploy each lap. So sadly, we won't be able to catch up to Hamilton to get his DRS, so that is it. I think Hamilton's gone now. But that was a good lap though, we did a very good lap there. The gap to Vettel behind is now 1.2 seconds, so he's not got DRS on us.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead, but remember we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres.
We're not catching the car ahead, Jeff, but okay. That's, if anyone doesn't know, the engineer is called Jeff. And he does occasionally say some silly things like that.
Bottas is out in front.
Oh, took a funny line through there. Oh dear. That weren't great. I took a really funny line, trying to take it flat through that corner, and then discovering that I can't. That wasted almost a second, about maybe 6-7 tenths of a second. I'm just going to stop pushing now. I think this, obviously these tyres have got to get to the end, so. And you can see there, Hamilton's just pitted. Vettel's just pitted. They've already pitted. Look, they've only gone to lap 18. So they're going to have to go on to another set of mediums.
Front is 6.9 seconds.
But obviously Bottas and Verstappen, look at that gap. I mean, yeah. Norris is doing the same strategy as Bottas and Verstappen. So I think Norris would have benefited from going onto hard tyres like us, because the McLaren hasn't got the pace. You know, what's happened to Norris would have been what's happened to us if we'd gone with the 2-stop. We would have been still in a very similar position to this, but we wouldn't have had the benefit of going to the end of the race. Which is why I went for the hard tyres. Does mean we won't be able to compete with Bottas and Verstappen, but obviously that doesn't matter. We're not here to win a race, we're here to get a good points finish really. That's the aim of this team. Obviously we qualified 11th and 14th, so we're not a super team. You know, we're not as quick as the Mercedes. It's only season 2. Obviously, my team car does start off as, you know, the second or third slowest on the grid. Obviously, I'm using Mercedes power this year, so that has increased performance. But still, and there you go. Bottas has pitted, and we will pass him. Our teammate Magnussen's just pitted, so he's obviously going on to those tyres. And Bottas is onto the medium tyre, so they can't go on the softs to the end. I mean, obviously they could potentially go on to softs if they wanted to, because they have still used you have to use 2 tyre compounds in a race. So they've obviously used medium to start with, then they go on to soft. So if the rules would permit them to go on to another set of softs, but maybe that's what Verstappen's doing, pushing on for more laps. If they could go to about lap 23, they could probably just make it to the end on a set of softs. But that would be tight. And behind us we've got Stroll. I'm pretty sure Stroll hasn't pitted yet. And then we've got Russell, who's obviously doing a 2-stop as well from that safety car. Again, the Alfa Romeo that Russell's in is really slow. By the way, this game does have driver transfers, that's why there's a couple of different drivers in these teams.
We've got a lot of spare energy. Use your overtake button.
Right, Jeff, we'll use it on this straight then. But yeah, obviously, so the Alfa Romeo is really slow, so by doing the 2-stop, they've kind of, you know, ruined their race a bit. But for me, I'm actually okay. Because I'm currently in the lead of the race now, so this is to the end now. We've got 12 laps to hold this lead, but Verstappen and Bottas, both on medium tyres, fresh medium tyres, in a quicker car.
They seem to have an issue.
Oh! Okay, Verstappen has a problem. That means Bottas is going to have to fight to get by him if he wants to win this race. We might have just got lucky there with Verstappen having... If Verstappen has an issue and Bottas takes a few laps to get by him, because when an AI has an issue like that, it means that they're really slow. Now, my internal combustion engine has just hit 60% wear, so we are actually getting quite close to where it could cause us a failure, around 75%.
Car behind has boxed for the mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre.
But yeah, so they've got 11 seconds to make up in 12 laps. They're going to have to make up a lot of time if they want that win, the AI. It'll probably be Bottas since Verstappen has a mechanical issue. As I think Verstappen's mechanical issue may have saved us, because he's going to hold up Bottas a little bit on this lap. And that will really, really help me.
We're leading our teammate by 25.0 seconds.
Shame our teammate didn't do the 1-stop. If he'd done the 1-stop, I think we could have had 2 really high points finishes for Magically Racing. But again, like, you can't control your teammate's strategy. Now, despite Verstappen having a problem, you can see he has a problem, because the gap to Verstappen you would expect to have come down by a whole second by now, and it hasn't come down at all, because Verstappen has a problem, which means he's slower, but he's holding up Bottas in the process, which is amazing for us. Obviously, every lap that those AI do not close on us is another lap for me to not be caught, and it really helps me. That means that they've still got to overcome that 11 seconds, but they've got less time to do it. I'm surprised. I mean, normally when an AI has an issue, though, they do find it quite easy to get by. Although it does depend on what the issue is. Like, the way the issue works, sometimes they'll be slow on the straight, and sometimes they'll just randomly slow down in the corners as a way of making the lap time slower. And I said, the AI are very cautious, so they don't like to pass in corners that often. That's how we made up so many places at the start of this race. Just the AI being cautious. You can see 2 laps have gone by now, and Bottas is still stuck, and the gap is still 11.5 seconds. I think if Verstappen hadn't had an issue, they would have been probably about 8 seconds away from me, 9 seconds away from me now. Rather than 11.5, so it saved us a lot. So I'll just keep pushing until the end of the race. Oh, car stepping out a bit there. Able to save it though. And you can see Bottas is still stuck. He's still there. 12 12 seconds away now. Honestly, that issue, if Verstappen hadn't had that issue, I think this win would have been very difficult. But I think with Verstappen's issue, I think we may be able to do it. Oh, okay, Bottas has just got by, obviously using DRS on the main straight probably. Just taking him that long to do it. So there. Now I think Bottas will come and try to get us. But it's 11 seconds in 9 laps. Now that's really tough to do, and obviously once he gets us, he can probably pass us quite easily with DRS though. So once he gets within a second of us, I think it's probably a booked-in pass, because we don't have nearly as much engine power. Even though we're using a Mercedes engine, we don't quite have the same engine power that Mercedes will. And obviously I'm on hard tyres that aren't nearly as fresh, and they are slower to begin with than the mediums. You can see now, look, the gap to Bottas, literally in 1 lap of him being released from Verstappen, it's gone from 11.6 to 10.4. So you can see he's properly quick. A lot quicker than me, a lot quicker than Verstappen with that issue. So if Verstappen hadn't had that issue, I think the win would have been pretty much certain for Bottas, but now I'm not so sure. Obviously the mediums will wear quicker than the hards as well, so towards the end of the race the performance will become slightly more equalised on our tyres. But yeah, the gap's down to just 9.8 seconds, so Bottas is flying. I think we're very lucky that Verstappen had that issue. If we want to get this win. I've noticed as well, I've actually stopped using the driving line nearly as much. I do actually start to do that, kind of like, as you learn the track a bit later, I do start to just ignore the driving line. I've started to get used to the track now, basically. Just pushing the gap behind now, just 9 seconds. And Verstappen's actually started closing now as well a little bit, so I don't know whether the issue has been resolved, or maybe without Bottas fighting him, he's able to go a bit quicker. Obviously, he's probably got the slipstream of Bottas to help him. I'll start using a bit of ERS, I haven't been using any. The gap's down to just 9 seconds, with 6 laps to go though, that's the thing. There's not long left. Okay, the gap's down to just 9 seconds. I'm pushing a lot, that's why I'm not talking a lot. I want to get this win. It'd be a difficult win to get. And if we do get this win, I think it will basically just be down to Verstappen having that issue, but Gotta take luck. Also, this has been a very good lap, actually. Obviously, the fuel amount in our car has gone down a lot now. But if we can keep setting laps like that, we're actually on pace with Bottas. Get behind is only 8.6 seconds now, so it's getting closer all the time. Because I have that one crazy lap, and then after this, the lap time will probably go down a lot.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
But obviously, there's only 5 laps left, so. So, I mean, we also got lucky just with the AI pulling bad strategy. I think if Bottas and Verstappen had also done the one stop, they would have just been gone on that restart, and that would have been it. Wouldn't have been able to catch them. And I would have been P3. Gap's 8.1 seconds. I think Verstappen's issue has been fixed now, because he's catching back up to Bottas. Now. Because I think Verstappen is faster out of the two. They go 1 second a lap. But we've only got 4 laps, so there's not enough time left, I don't think, for Bottas to get us. Oh, tyre wear maybe kicking in a bit there. You've got to be very gentle with the F1 cars on this game, otherwise they spin.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more. We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
Right, 7 seconds the gap now, so it's coming down all the time. I'll start using that overtake button a bit. Tyres are becoming a bit worn now, 38% the left front. And this lap has been a bit quicker though than our previous really good lap. That is because we're on rich mix, which allows you to go a lot quicker out of corners and things because there's more power from the engine. Obviously I was saving fuel after we burnt it and that first little couple of laps from the safety car, but we've now got to the point where we've got some to burn again, and I will obviously use it to try and keep that gap from Bottas. 7.4 seconds. It is closing. It was 11 seconds when he got past Verstappen, so it's come down by about 4 seconds. And the gap to Hamilton, I noticed, was 20 seconds after the pit stop. That's down to just 12.5. So if Hamilton had been on a better tyre strategy, I think he could have had us in this race. It's closed 7.5 seconds on us since that restart. Not since the restart, since the pit stops they made. And obviously he didn't have that 9-second gap to begin with.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
So my tyres are beginning to get old now, but I think so will Bottas and Verstappen's. Obviously they're on mediums which wear faster. 7 seconds to Bottas behind. Okay. So that gap is closing, but just 2 laps left now.
Gap to teammate behind is 30.1 seconds.
Right, gap is just 6.3 seconds behind now. They are really closing. But it's not going to be enough. Again, if Verstappen hadn't had that issue, I think Bottas would have been about 3 seconds behind us by now, maybe even 2. And potentially could have got us on the last lap. Would have been close, but... Yeah, on to the last lap now. The gap is at 6.3 seconds, so I think we're okay.
This is your final lap of the race.
I think we're alright.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty.
Going a bit wide there, that's because we're using... Oh, I didn't get a single warning for track limits all race. Oh well, that's because we were using overtake mode. It made us go a bit quicker at that turn, which meant that we went wide. Also the tyres are beginning to degrade now a bit. Alright, there we go. On the last lap. And it's a good last lap as well to win the race with a 5.5 second gap.
Great job.
Wow.
We've done everything we wanted today.
There we go. Obviously, that win is partially, well, it's almost all because of Verstappen's problem, and of course the AI having stupid strategy in this game. It annoys me that every time I play this game, I wish that the AI would be better.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way.
Because the AI in this game, they
they
do let you have positions too easily, and then definitely the strategy from their engineers needs work. But hey, it doesn't really matter. We got the win, so that's what matters. And then going up a couple of levels in there, kind of, I think they call it the podium pass. It's a bit like the battle pass in Fortnite.
So let's review the updated driver stats.
Yeah, that's good. And our
The results our
teammate,
points leader wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward. After
and
an
look,
incredible
there you go,
day
our
of racing,
teammate,
who was your driver
even on the
today,
2-stop,
I have
got
to give it to the
P8.
engineer. They fought
So
hard
obviously,
and had incredible
our
piece
car
of
has
time.
some pace.
So I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
It's time to see how things are shaping
Honestly, if
up
our
in the
teammate didn't do the
Constructors'
2-stop, I think he
Championship.
probably
It was a
could have
tough
been in
race
top
for our
5.
championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
a strong weekend from
I'll take
Red Bull
that.
this time out,
Right.
and they improve their position
Obviously,
in the
I'm actually doing very well in the standings.
After an event
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
who knows what the storm
Only
has in
1
store for us
point
next?
off Lewis Hamilton, although I think I'm not going to be winning the championship in Season 2 because well, I might not even get to the end of Season 2. I really don't play this game that often. But Lewis Hamilton, right, who's the biggest rival? Let's just say Verstappen. That's quite a good level. But yeah, so Hamilton, usually in this game, he is just OP. He wins all the races, and it's only the last 2 races where I was very quick at Zandvoort, and then obviously this one, which was just luck. Like, if I didn't get into if I got into Q3 and had to start on the softs, I wouldn't have been able to do that good safety car strategy, and I would have been behind Hamilton, behind all them. I probably would have been about 6th if I got into Q3. So actually, in the end, it ended up being quite lucky that we didn't get in. Yeah, no problem with that. I might stream this game a bit more. I don't know. Again, I like playing this game, but I don't play it enough for it to be a YouTube series or anything. I mean, as I say, sometimes I have months and months without playing it. I just thought, you know what, why not stream this game this morning? I felt like playing it, and I thought, well, I may as well do a stream on a Saturday morning, so let's do this. Why not? And then, yeah, I mean, bit of a lucky result with the AI being a little bit dodgy, I suppose, but it doesn't really matter. Next up is Monaco Grand Prix, so that'll be chaos, we all know that. And just quickly, going to do some work. Now, our engine is one of the best on the grid. Obviously, I took Mercedes power unit this season, so that's why it's so good. Going to do some work on the chassis just to make the car a little bit nicer to drive. And then, is there a small aero upgrade we can do? There is. So we'll do that as well. So there's a couple of upgrades coming to the car then. But that's about it, really. And remember, before I forget, I'm going to change over some of these parts. Otherwise, I will forget. And the gearbox has actually also extended its lifespan, so we'll go ahead and put a new gearbox in. And there we go, that is it then. Hope everyone enjoyed this one. Bit of an unusual stream maybe, but hey, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's good fun. I'll just, I need to go off the game so I can put it back in this mode. And there we go. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream. And see you in the next video or stream. Next week now I've got hopefully do a touring car challenge video on iRacing. I've had some good races in that this week. At the Charlotte Roval. Not really a track I'd think would be good for touring cars, but it turns out it's been pretty fun. So I think I might have a little fun with that. But apart from that, I hope everyone enjoyed the stream and hope to see you in the next video. Also, actually, I own the Flight Factor 767 now, so expect to see some flying videos on that as well in the coming week. But I hope everyone really enjoyed this video. Hope to see you in the next one. Not video, stream, what am I on about? Bye-bye.